A great way to learn programming is to experiment and try lots of new things and make mistakes, which is what I will do and I do all the time. It's a lot of fun because it's like a video game, because programming is like a puzzle or like building with Legos. Now, with Legos, it's really cool because what they do now is they ship with these tools that you see right here. Whoops. They ship with these tools that you see right here that help you if you make errors. You can take bricks apart, etc. So please embrace errors as fun and part of the learning process as well. So what we're going to introduce in this lecture is the sum function over here. And we're also going to introduce something called lists, which is mind-blowing. It's unbelievable. So let's talk about the sum function, and let's make this a lot of fun with props. So Darth Vader has an army of 2 right here, 2 soldiers, Boba Fett right here, and a stormtrooper right here. And Darth Vader wants to use the sum function to get the total number of years of experience his army of 2 has, these 2 right here. Now, Boba Fett over here has 20 years of experience, and this stormtrooper here has 10 years of experience. So together, they have 30 years of experience. Now, intuitively, I would code this as follows. Let me go into high-speed mode and code what I think intuitively would be the right way to add stuff within Colab. So here what I've done is I've defined Boba Fett experience as the number 20 years. Stormtrooper's experience is 10 for 10 years. Then I made a new variable called experience, and I made it equal to the sum in round brackets here of Boba Fett experience and Stormtrooper experience. I then put in a line here to print the experience sum, which should be 30. Let's run the code. Ooh, I get an error. It says that my integer number, int here, okay, these integers, are not iterable. What? What does that mean? Well, for now, think of iterable as being like a collection of data. So how do we make a collection of data so we can use them in the sum function? Well, let me rewrite the code in high speed here. Okay, I put squares around it. Stick with me on this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make these wings here square. And it's so ridiculous what I'm doing, but learning is fun, and I never want you to forget what I'm about to show you. Okay, took me a while to architect it this way too. Okay, great. And this here is a list, remember that, okay? And I'm going to put these dudes up here inside of this list here. Please stay, Boba Fett. Thank you for your cooperation. Oi, I told you, man, I'm making lots of mistakes. This is how we learn, and it's fun. All right, you're just going to lean forward here, okay, Boba? Good, Boba. Okay, great. So stick with me here because we're going to have this incredible aha moment very, very soon. So in Colab, let's add total experience equals, and I'll do this in high-speed mode, equals sum of experience. And we'll change the print statement too. So I'll do this really fast. All right, now let's run this code here. All right, it works. Why? Because we create a list called experience, and we put it in square brackets. This is a huge breakthrough. Okay, so watch this. If I add a line of code to the bottom as print type experience, we can check to see what type of data is this here. So let me do this in high speed mode. Okay, now let's run this. We see here it's a list. This is a new one for us, right? We've already talked about these ones. We just talked about lists, and there's a couple more eventually that I'm going to be introducing. So the way to define a list is to use square brackets, like the way that we re-engineered this ship. Okay. And remember back in level 2, we talked about data types. Well, again, similar to these data types here, we have a new data type we're talking about called list. Now, what we're going to do is let's have some fun here. We're going to keep building on this, okay? And before you know it, you'll be building this Titanic, and it won't be intimidating at all. I wish this thing went faster, but it doesn't. Okay, one brick at a time. And I guess I'll use this camera over here. And we've got a bunch of different capstone projects we'll be doing as well, 4 in total. All right, let me lower this here. So we're building on everything brick by brick, and we're having fun doing it. And this way it won't be intimidating when we have this incredible aha moment when we figure out how to not make errors when you're teaching here. Let me lower this down here, get it out of the way. Go away, Titanic, thank you. 9,000 pieces. Okay, I had fun making it with my kids. All right, so let's take a step back and do this exercise together again, and let's add comments to our code. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to clear all this code. Let's just get rid of all of it. I'll gut it. Actually, I'm going to move this on the floor. I'll do this in high-speed mode. Okay, so let's create our first line. We'll make a comment, okay? So I'm going to call this create our list of years experience. Okay, good. And I will copy this to my clipboard. Okay, great. Then let's type down here, list of years experience equals 20, 30. Okay, great. In square brackets, it's a list. Okay, and then let me press enter twice so that we can read this like a paragraph. Like when we're writing a story, it's easier to read if it's spaced out. All right, now let's add another comment above our next line of code, which is this. And I'll do this in high-speed mode. Check to see what data type list of years experience is. Then let's type this. Print type experience. Okay, good. Excellent. And let's run the code here. And it's a list. Okay. And I want you to comment your code, especially if you're going to combine lots of lines of codes into one, kind of like we did here with print type list. We could have done that in a couple of lines. All right. Now I'm going to add another comment, and I'll do this in high-speed mode, called create a variable called sum of list. And let's make sum of list equal to sum list of years experience. Okay, cool. Enter twice. Let's add another comment above our next line of code called print the sum of list. And let's type here print sum of list. Okay, great. And let's run the code now. Okay, so the sum of list here is 50. Okay, all right. So lists allow us to take our Python games to the next level. And don't ever get intimidated by this stuff. Just break it down and add lots of comments and make lots of mistakes too, like I have and I'll continue to make. It's so much fun learning this way. So we covered a lot in this lecture. And in the next lecture, what we're going to do is an exercise together to reinforce what we've learned so far about lists and the sum function. Thank you.